Screw your freedom.
Cut out the jibber jabber. Don't be babbling like a fool. Say what you got to say. That's all. Then shut your dang pie hole.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. We got some Texas gun questions going on. We got some Texas law enforcement questions. We have some national questions, right? Is this problem a Texas problem, the school shooting, or is this a national problem? You see, if it's a Texas problem, Texas better get their stuff together, right? And God bless Texas. If it's a national problem, then I guess maybe the federal government can think about it. But we had an admission by the Texas Department of Public Safety. They came out and the official said that the police were reluctant to take out the Uvalde shooter because they could have been shot. Very interesting. Once again, I guess going in, they don't know who the shooter is. They don't know if the shooter is a deranged lunatic who is into self-mutilation and has other mental problems, or whether this is a trained expert in the use of firearms. I mean, they don't know that. So I guess maybe they don't want to go in and save everybody because they could have been shot. Yes, folks, this discussion is an extension of yesterday's comments, commentary, and video production. And so again, yeah, most police have no desire to engage armed people. They want to go home to dinner and their families. They have not signed up to be heroes. They want paychecks, benefits, and a retirement. This isn't the 1950s or the 1980s, like when the bank robbers came out dressed and armed and armored the way they were in the movie Heat, right? Having a huge shootout in the streets of Los Angeles. That was some impressive footage, by the way. It's no longer the 50s or those 80s. And who could blame these cops for not wanting to be shot? I don't want to be a cop, and I don't want to ever be shot again. Now, having said that, if someone chooses to be a cop, isn't facing danger part of that job? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And though the probability of facing a school shooter is low, it appears that being shot by an active shooter is enough to make most police stop and reconsider their jobs, whether or not they are paid and trained to handle active shooter scenarios. Now, at my work in the past, we've had active shooter scenarios go down, and we've had active shooter training with both staff and law enforcement. Everyone becomes very aware of active shooters, right? So again, I ask, how will gun confiscation take place when every household becomes an active shooter threat? These same police would say, I ain't going in there. I don't want to get shot. So again, for the Second Amendment and the Patriot side going, you ain't taking my guns. I don't care if Beto says so or not. And by the way, there's an excellent picture of Beto circulating the internet where he has, shall we say, body graffiti all over him, making it well known exactly who he is. Now, back to the article at hand, the Texas gun questions we have, right? How will gun confiscation take place when every household becomes a serious active shooter threat to any police who are trying to confiscate weapons? I don't think they're going to want that job either, right? Do we need to demilitarize the police and sheriff's departments? Big question I have. Do they really need MRAPs, body armor, full auto weaponry? Do the police really need that? Because apparently they're not willing to use it, I guess, unless they're ambushing somebody. And again, it's a tough job. I don't want that job. I'm not young and ambitious anymore, right? Now, being in the military is something completely different, right? Protecting the country, not from criminals, but from commies and other enemies. That's a whole different thing. And fighting for our liberties and rights on a personal level, that matters. And that's what the Second Amendment is. And that's why it would be so dangerous. It's not like you're taking away our right to have Italian flavored ice for dessert. You're talking about guns. Now, so police are not a 100% solution in this school shooting and gun issue, right? Police aren't the solution. The answer, I think, might be identifying the mentally ill students and youths who are committing these types of murders, because they're out there. right? I am not a mentally ill, deranged lunatic who is, I don't know, mentally deranged and ill. Right? I'm not committing crimes. It's a tough one, folks. You can't arrest somebody till they've committed a crime. How about the answer is having law enforcement who are hired specifically to charge into these violent situations? I'm sure there are some that would make this their primary goal, right? How about the answer is to allow law-abiding citizens to protect children, themselves, and all others? In fact, there are already a couple of schools that have said, that's it, we're training teachers and they will have guns in the classroom. Smart. If I were a teacher, I wouldn't want one of my LGBS students or any other students that are mentally deranged to come back and take out their aggressions on me. And again, I want to question, folks, what are these kids in school being taught? Why do they hate themselves, their own identity, their own gender? Why do they hate their own parents, their own country, their family so much? Who is teaching them this crap? The gun? Hardly. The gun is a tool like a shovel, like a rake, like a spatula. Right? The answer is to allow law-abiding citizens, folks, to protect children, themselves, and all others. Now, again, we defend our president with guns. We defend our congressmen with guns. We defend our governors with guns. Hey, celebrities get defended with guns. Our sporting events, guns. We defend our jewelry stores with guns, our banks with guns. We defend our courts with guns. We defend our infrastructure and factory with guns. We defend our children with a sign that says, this is a gun-free zone. And then when someone with a gun shows up, starts killing people in an emergency, they call people with guns, and then these people say, I don't want to get shot. See how this is now. A lot of that we defend stuff came from someone named The Left Are Crybabies. I borrowed that from them. Well done. We've got some big problems. The answer from the left is to instantly politicize this and make it about guns. The problem is the criminal, right? And how we deal with the criminal. The problem is mental illness. The problem's not the gun. The problem is mental illness. Where is it coming from? See, this is a question the leftists don't want to do because it is part of the cake that they've baked. And we're all having to take a bite. Only it doesn't taste like cake, it tastes like shit. Here we are, looking right at the problem. The left are like, don't look at the problem, don't look at the problem. It's the bad police. I'm sorry, in a lot of ways, I don't blame these cops. They're not heroes. I don't expect an average person to do something a hero would do. We think they're supposed to be heroes because that's how we imagine police. But they are not hard-charging devil dogs taking on Nazis in World War II or the Pacific or anywhere else, right? They're not airborne out there. It's not their job, right? When we see police acting a little too aggressive and we're like, hey, pal, the guy just had a speeding ticket there. Calm down, right? I've seen that. I've seen a lot of footage where some of these guys have had way too much coffee, right? That's not their job. Their job really is handing out speeding tickets nicely. Their job really is to write reports about crimes that have been committed, right? So addressing the problem in a different way. Guns make for polite neighbors and polite streets and polite societies. That's my opinion, and I think a lot of people share that. But fixing the problem rather than politicizing, I think, is something that you and I are going to be responsible for. Once again, folks, the mainstream media, they won't have an epiphany and go, aha, we've realized, let's leave the Second Amendment alone and go after these ridiculous, shall we say, indoctrination systems in our school system and the entertainment media, Hollywood and all. Nope. It's not, they're not going to go, it's the teachers associations and the teachers unions and companies like, don't forget State Farm, and like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. with perverted books for your kids, right? Yeah, companies that support this radical crap that are causing kids to hate one another, right? Unifying someone around mental illness, unifying all of, shall we say, all of the youth around mental illness is not going to create a situation where that mental illness goes away because it's accepted. You don't accept mental illness, you treat it. You treat it. And you don't treat a problem, right, by addressing an entirely different issue. Like the problem is mental illness, not guns. The problem is criminals. Well, then you eliminate criminals and criminal behavior and you quit rewarding it. Ah, yes, once again, the Democrats' faux pas. They have been, if not rewarding, at the very least, allowing criminal behavior. 2020, summer of love, protests, mostly peaceful, my ass. Here we are, the summer of 2022. And they're kicking off more of this CRT race BLM crap, folks. There's a university professor who's come out and getting a lot of press again. We've got BLM coming out. We also have the Roe v. Wade decision still not out, and it's coming. We now have this gun issue. All, as G.U.N would say, well, we got to change the news cycle. The Ukraine issue, as discussed in the last video, that one's going to go by the wayside. The rich got what they wanted out of that. I'm sorry, the uber duber duber super rich got what they wanted out of that. You know, the World Economic Forum, the globalists who don't believe in national sovereignty, the globalists who sell guns and parts and tanks and missiles and bullets and band-aids. They sell all of that to both sides and make money. They got what they wanted, folks, so they're going to distract us from Ukraine, and it's all domestic now. That doesn't mean there's not going to be more problems. Oh, we've got international problems, and we'll cover it right here. Anyways, next episode is going to be the Friday free-for-all live, only if you're on Patreon. Patreon.com, The Prepared Mind. Sign up there, $2 a month, 7 pennies a day. And that's what supports this channel. So I'll see you guys on Patreon for the free-for-all. And after that, you guessed it, Sunday Night Live. I'll see you then. Chance favors The Prepared Mind is yours. Semper Fi.